Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it is a narration of a message that I received earlier on. Then I had to ask one of our admins to give us a translation. So this is the translation of that message. The narration reads like this. Hello Brother Nashi, can you please post for me as hidden identity? I am a man who is a red garment prophet, and as a red garment prophet, I have all the powers that can allow me to do what they call a go back to sender prayer. Even though for now I have too much guilt that is inside my heart, and for me to keep on going, doing all of these go back to sender prayers, it is very painful for me, because these powers that I have, they came at a great price, and they have given me such a great pain, and I do not know what will happen to my family on the day that I am going to die, since one of my family members has already died because of all these rituals that I did so as to get all of these healing powers that I have. For me to get these healing powers that I have right now, the blood of my sister who used to work there in South Africa was requested from me, and when that blood was requested, she had to die so that I can become this very powerful prophet. When my story started, I was a regular young man who used to attend a white garment church, but along the way I met a very beautiful young lady whom I had chosen to marry. But the problem was that me and this beautiful young lady, even though she was from another village, she used to attend another church that was different from the church that I grew up attending. She was from a red garment church, whilst I was from a white garment church. So when I was trying to impress this beautiful woman whom I wanted to later get married to, what I did, Brother Nashi, is that I then started attending the same church that she was attending. When I had started attending that church that she was attending, even though as a man who had grew up in these white garment churches, some of the prayers I could understand that they used to use, and some of the prayers I could not understand. The prayers that I used in the red garment church, I was then impressed by this other particular powerful prayer. At that time, my brother, the way that I used to survive, I would go into the gold mines so that I can try and dig up for gold. So there were times when these prayers were given to me by some of the prophets that were the leaders at that new church that I was attending. So I then noticed that whenever I would have used those prayers that would have been given to me, when I would go to those gold mines, I'll see that the prayers would work in my favor. Even if I would arrive in a place where people would tell me that down there is no more gold that could be found in an area that was very dry, whenever I would go down the mine, then when I would come back up, I would have something so that it can assist me. Me and that young lady, we continued dating, but the other problem that I was now facing when I was attending that church, I was now trying to prophesy or to give people prophecies, but whenever I would try to tell a person a prophecy, the prophecy that I would have given to that person will be so embarrassing, because it will be a false prophecy. Then the person will not agree with all the details that I'll be telling them, and everyone will just see that this person does not know how to give people prophecies. I was always ashamed and humiliated whenever I would get up so that I can give people prophecies. Feeling ashamed like that, that was when this other man, he was also a prophet who used to attend that same church that I was attending. doing when I had started dating that young lady that I wanted to marry. He then gave me a prophecy. He said that when he was looking at me, he saw that there was a spirit, a good spirit that was waiting to descend upon my life. This spirit that was supposed to descend upon my life was from the heavens, and it was a spirit of prophecy. As a man who had suffered so much in his life, I had reached a point in my life that I wanted God to be quick in all of his dealings. I was tired of that thing whereby I had to wait for God's time. I wanted this thing to be done overnight because that man had promised me that eventually that spirit of prophecy was going to descend upon my life. And as a newly married man, I had told myself that it was now time that I should get rich or die trying so that I can take care of my wife. At that time, I was staying with my wife at my parents' house, and we all know that once you are married, you can never have that kind of a relationship that you used to have with your parents. And there was a little bit of infighting that was happening between my wife and my parents. So I then decided that I should be independent enough so that I can take care of my wife and we can build our own house in a separate place, not in that same compound which had my parents. At that time, the spirit that had entered into my heart was like, even if I have to make a deal with the devil, I didn't even care. All that I wanted to do was to build a beautiful house in the village and to become like the most powerful prophet in our country. And indeed, if you were to come to our village, my house is the most beautiful house that you can see in the village, and it has a modern look to it. I even have a solar powered bowl at my homestead. This bowl, I didn't even use any single cent when they were drilling that bowl. What had happened is that there was this other client that came to my homestead. Then that client of mine did a consultation with me. After the consultation, that was when we did some prayers that included some go back to sender prayers. After that client had returned back to their home, when the client came back, that was when the client informed me that there was a great present that they wanted to give me, and it was in form of a bowl being drilled in my homestead. So this bowl that is here in my homestead, it was a form of a donation that was given to me by one of my clients. So the way that I assisted her, it was only possible because I did so many rituals so as to quicken the process of me becoming a mighty go back to sender prophet. If I had not done all of those rituals, I am pretty sure that I would have never been able to perform all of those go back to sender rituals. That is the case, my brother, why you see most of these prophets, if you go and consult with them, they will never consult with you free of charge, because they would ask themselves, why should they consult with you free of charge? Yet they did some of the rituals that ended up costing the lives of their loved ones. In my case, if someone comes to me and if they tell me that they want to consult with me and they do not have anything, the first thing that I'll think about is my beloved sister, the same one that I had to sacrifice for me to become this powerful. Even if some people in our village were to bring one of their loved one, and even if I see that the person will be so sick that if I do not assist that person, the person will just die. My brother, whenever I think about my sister, I feel no mercy at all, because I had to do that same sacrifice. That is why I used to charge a lot of money whenever someone would have came to consult with me, because of the sacrifices that I did.